What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's a new week, and you know what that means. We're going to have new trading opportunities on Bitcoin, and I'm going to break down exactly what I'm looking for in terms of Bitcoin on the weekly chart. Then I'm going to get into the daily trades for today, because we're going to get into like the best trades to be trading this week. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just dive right into it. Before we do though, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Xuan, and I've been publicly documenting the success rate of all of these trade calls here on YouTube. So far, I'm at about a 75% win rate across, I don't know, a year and a half or so of, just publicly documenting it. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a reason to listen to me. But with that out of the way, to kick things off on the weekly chart, because we always like to start high with the higher time frame and then go down to the lower time frame. We don't want to do the opposite. That's a very easy way to guarantee that you're going to be trading counter to whatever the higher time frame move is. Now, in terms of the weekly chart, good news. Like, this is the biggest pump I think we've had all year. Like, yeah, literally all year. Basically, market has been in a free fall basically since the end of last year, and right now, finally, we have some life back into the market. Now, as I've already kind of mentioned beforehand last week, until we get a confirmed weekly candle close above 82,200, we are not fully out of the bear market yet. And even when this happens, this is like step one in the recovery process, right? Once this happens, you would still need the market to form some sort of higher low before, we dive into any sort of opportunity. Now, obviously, when that happens, I'm going to be the first to let you guys know. So subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I have called basically every single major top ever since we started dumping, and I've also called majority of the major bottoms as we were on the way up. Like, yeah, just understand, yes, I know price is moving right now and I know price is pumping, and there is a general sense of FOMO of wanting to get into the markets because it's moving, but this is some of the worst kind of like decision making that you could have, because instead of waiting for the market to give you exact clear confirmations as like, okay, we're finally having a reversal signal and the trend is changing or market structure or whatever, you're just going in because price is moving. And obviously it doesn't take a genius to understand that's not exactly a very profitable kind of strategy. So like, yeah, we have very clear conditions that we are looking for, and I've been mentioning this since basically the time that we started dropping. Like, yeah, every single one of these pumps have been false pumps where you kind of just retraced into some sort of key level, and then you started dropping, right? In both of these cases, it was fair value gaps, and at the moment, price is not coming into a fair value gap, so this is going to be a slightly different pump, especially also because like this is quite a good sign, and the fact that this is happening after an extended accumulation leads me to believe that there is a high chance that we're going to get that reversal. But still, this is what I think, right? This is the idea that I have at the moment. Just because it's an idea doesn't mean it's a proper kind of signal to where we should act on it, right? A trade idea doesn't mean trade setup. So until this happens, right, we're going to stay out of the market, at least in terms of the swing trading perspective. Now, once this happens, I'll definitely reevaluate, but for now, patience is key. Patience is key. Like, aside from patience is key, right? We're going to be playing this day by day. Basically, like, instead of trying to capture a move right away off like a higher time frame, we're going to be more aggressive on the lower time frames. Now, coming down into the lower time frames though, you can see that, okay, to kick things off, we can see that, the weekends have been pretty low volatility, which is standard for a weekend, right? Volatility tends to go down during the weekend. But the other thing that I want to pay attention to is that if we start ranging this week, right, around this level, it basically sets us up for a move where we sweep some lows, followed by a move towards the upside, towards 82,200. Now that we're so close to this previous liquidity level over here at 83,000, I do think that we're going to hit this sometime this week, especially also because, like, if you take a look at the weekly bias, right, because we closed very bullish, this week we are also going to be looking for more bullish moves. And the way we're going to do that is through understanding the power of three. Basically, this is where the market opened today at 77,700. So as price goes below the weekly open, this gives us an opportunity to buy low and then potentially sell high when we get that true expansion towards the upside. So the fact that Monday or Tuesday dumps is going to be a really positive sign for longs. Now, just take a look at the news that we have this week. We have the news days on both Wednesday and Thursday, which means that both of these days are going to be more likely than not the volatile days, right? The big movers. And if whatever move that we're looking for, right? For example, we were talking about that true expansion, we can expect, right? Reasonably expect that Monday and Tuesday are going to be kind of false moves or just setting up for whatever move Wednesday is going to have, and Wednesday is going to be the true expansion, right? At least that's what I'm looking for. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I'm just anticipating that this is going to happen. So even if Monday or Tuesday goes down, like, that's not any reason to panic. If you guys are wondering like where this concept is coming from, I've used this time and time again across the last year and a half or so, and more times than not, it has allowed us to accurately read like the highs and lows of the week, and heck, even the highs and lows of the day most often, because this is a fractal concept, right? And just because I'm applying it on the daily chart right now doesn't mean I cannot apply this on the 5-minute or the 1 hour. But not to digress too deep into that, the daily bias today is bullish, so we should technically be looking for longs today. So yeah, let's go into the lower time frames to see if that is possible. Now, good news is that we recently, like literally 5 minutes ago, right, we managed to confirm a CISD above this line right here, which basically means that this blue box right here is now a confirmed bullish order block on the 1 hourly time frame. Secondly, something that stands out to me is the fact that we have swept some sort of a low, right? Which means this is now a strong low. Now, the difference between a strong low and a weak low is that a weak low is a low that forms without sweeping liquidity. For example, both of these lows right here, they're relatively equal. Those are weak lows. So if you try to go long into weak lows, what ends up happening is that you kind of get stopped out, and then price, before price continues to move towards the upside. So ideally, we want to be trading only into strong lows. Now, strong lows are lows that form after sweeping liquidity. Now, if you understand anything about liquidity concepts, it's basically like, okay, there's a bunch of stop losses below here that needs to get stopped out. But once they are stopped out, well, guess what? There's no longer much reason for the market to kind of go back towards this level, right? Because there's not as much liquidity over there. Meanwhile, we can see that there are relatively equal highs above. And also we have some highs left behind from Friday, as well as like literally Friday and Thursday that have not yet been tapped. So these are going to be the couple of targets that we're looking for. Basically, like if today, right, Mondays are usually not the most volatile days, especially on a Monday that has no news. But if today happens to be a volatile Monday, then we can reasonably expect price to go all the way up to $78,000. I think that is not a far-fetched kind of, and heck, just make some sort of an aggressive move towards 81 or 82, like basically just reaching towards that weekly objective of $83,000. With that said though, today is going to be a rare day where I'm going to recommend a trade because of all the conditions that I mentioned beforehand, the fact that you have a strong low, the fact that daily bias is bullish, the fact that the weekly bias is bullish, plus the fact that you finally have a confirmed CISD on the 1 hourly chart means that today is going to be a lot cleaner compared to a regular Monday. Now, besides that, and a very positive sign that I can see right as I go onto the 5-minute chart is that the London session has actually swept below the Asia low on a day where we have a bullish daily bias. If you guys know exactly what this means, it's basically like Asia tends to be accumulation, right? Depending on how London sweeps the Asia levels, this could give you an idea of where the true move of the day is going to be, because usually that first kind of sweep tends to be manipulation, and if manipulation is happening at the lows, then distribution is likely to happen, well, towards the upside basically, and we're clearly seeing that play out right now, not only through the 1 hourly CISD, but I can see that even the 5-minute, right, you've got some convincing CISDs over here. So basically the move today is going to be pretty straightforward. Right now, as of the time that I'm recording this, is about 6 a.m. and by the time 7 a.m. rolls around, right, basically 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. you're going to look for a retrace back into this hourly order block right here, and you're going to want to make sure that the 5-minute chart is still in bullish order flow. The moment you get bullish order flow, like that's going to be, the entries here, stop is here, and you're going to target for 2R. Now you're either going to target for 2R or you're literally going to be targeting literally just 2R, right? 78, 79, 80, like these are all valid targets. As long as price keeps going up and as long as price keeps putting in bullish order flow, honestly, just getting in at newly formed order blocks and targeting 2R, that is going to be the way to go. And I know that sounds really simple, and yet good trading is oftentimes simple. After all, like when it's too complicated is when you start struggling with, all of your indicators and all of your, strategies giving you different signals at the same time, and then you'll be left wondering like, okay, do I take this signal, do I take that, or like, what am I supposed to do right now? Whereas like the system's super simple and it works amazingly well. If my 75% win rate hasn't been enough to kind of give you proof that the system works, then the obscene amount of success stories that I've shared on Twitter, used to be on a daily basis, but honestly I've been taking a break recently from Twitter, that should hopefully let you know that not only does this work for me, it also works for you guys here on YouTube. Like I have a whole bank of like comments of you guys making money as a result of trading the system, and obviously you have the students as well, which by the way, if you'd like to work with us one-on-one to get you from where you are now to a point where you're full-time trading within the next 3 months or so, then feel free to click the first link in the description box below. We recently made some changes to our program where instead of doing like group coaching as we did from before, we're now going much more heavily into one-on-one coaching where we just work with you intensively, right? Every day we're going to look through your trades. Every day you're going to be, just basically speaking with us, right? One-on-one. And the results have been like astonishing to say the least, because we currently have 2 people that are in the new program, and both of them ended up getting funded for $250,000 in the span of like 2 to 3 weeks after joining the program. It's something that works, and yes, it's going to require a little bit more work from your end than usual, but hey, anything worth pursuing anything meaningful enough to have, or a skill meaningful enough to kind of learn and give you money is probably going to take some effort. But if you are ready to, put in this effort, and if you just want to make sure that the effort that you put in is reciprocated in results, click the first link in the description box below, right? We're going to take on another 5 people this month because this is not something that is scalable. After all, it is one-on-one and it takes a lot of time on our end. and attention as well. But it does get some insane results, and that's what we care about. If you'd like to join, click the first link. Now, just a final note is that obviously by the time you come back into this order block, if price just keeps going in bearish order flow, that's clearly a sign that like this trade idea is just not going to come to fruition. So you really want to make sure when you come back into this order block, you want to make sure that you have that change in state of delivery or just some sort of bullish order flow to work with. Even if you miss this initial entry, as long as price continues going up, you can still get in on newly formed order blocks. So that would be my only recommendation. And obviously, if I do get into any trades today, I'm going to definitely let you guys know on Twitter. But don't count on it. I'm about to go out for a basketball to destroy some noobs. But with that out of the way, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.